Minasan Yokoso. In this video, I am going to talk about the scenes which were removed from Solo Leveling Season 2, Episode 1. Let's start. They have removed the scene where Jinwoo is coming out from the job change quest dungeon. Next is when he gets ready for the parents-teacher meeting. After getting ready, he visits a bank where he talks with a bank employee. Jinwoo says, I want to make a debit card and update my bank account. After updating the passbook, the employee is in shock. Jinwoo has 1.4 billion won in his account. She asks him about his occupation. In reply, Jinwoo says, I am a hunter. The employee tries to sell him a new investment plan from the bank, but Jinwoo refuses. This is the money he got from the raids with Jinho. Moving on to the parents-teacher meeting, where the teacher also falls for the ruse of Jinwoo. Here we also get the information that Jinwoo is a graduate from the same school as his sister. Next they talk about Han Song-yi, friend of his sister, the E-rank hunter girl. The teacher says there is a student who wants to drop out because she has awakened and she isn't coming to school. If she doesn't come to school, they may have to take action on this matter. The teacher asks for a favor. She tells Jinwoo to convince her to at least finish the high school. Hearing her name, he got shocked. He also discovers that she is his sister's friend. The photo of Jinwoo and his sister Jinha shown in the anime are different from the manhwa. The part where Jinwoo and Song-yi having conversation after the parents-teacher meeting, they have removed some parts. Jinwoo tells her regular attacks doesn't work against magic beast. She must have a weapon with magical abilities, but even if she has a weapon, it will own out and she have to keep buying a new one. That's why it's hard to make profit as an E-rank hunter. Jinwoo more tells that she wants to become hunter just because she got lots of money while working with their strike squad. Song-yi replies not to lecture her. Seeing her stubbornness, Jinwoo says, don't worry, I wasn't going to convince you to quit. She asks, then why are you here? Jinwoo says, to help you become an excellent hunter. Moving to the Hang Dong-soo and Woo Jin-chul airport meetup conversation. Dong-soo asks Jin-chul, is he still the right-hand man of Chairman Go Gun-hee? He more says, if I were in your shoes, I should make sure that the old geezer can't do anything without his trusted subordinates and take everything over to myself. He offers Jin-chul to join the scavenger guild. It's the guild of Dong-soo. They will even pay more than what his current pay is. Here we get information that the association suspected Hang Dong-soo's older brother Hang Dong-suk have murdered countless of hunters inside the dungeon, but they couldn't investigate properly because he was the older brother of a S-rank. Jin-chul says to himself that they never shown any guilt on their face. He calls them scumbags. Next, moving to the moment before entering the C-rank gate. Jinwoo requested An Sang-min, the chief of the White Tiger Guild, to let him visit the training ground for new hunters. Sang-min thought Jinwoo is interested in White Tiger Guild. They will show him how exceptional their guild training system is. They have 1 A rank, 7 B rank, 4 C rank, total 12 members. In anime, they reduced people. There were 1 A rank, 5 B rank and 2 C rank, total 8 members. So 4 people was removed. The member counts are without Jinwoo and Song-yi. After entering the dungeon, there is a scene where Jinwoo catches the arrow which was thrown to Song-yi. As you can see, the scenes are different in manhwa and anime. Let's moving to the scene where Jin-chul driving the car for Dong-soo. Dong-soo asks Jin-chul what happened to my brother's funeral. In reply, Jin-chul says it was kept low profile. Unfortunately, they couldn't retrieve his brother's body. He also asks that does he wants to visit the mortuary. In reply, he says, nah, I am not interested in someone who's already dead. Jin-chul says, then where would you like me to take you? Dong-soo says, where else? To a dungeon. He wants to find Jinwoo and Jinho, and he assumes that they are hunters, so he can find them in a dungeon. Jin-chul says, there are so many different gates in South Korea. How do you plan on locating them? Dong-soo says, not a problem. This is 21st century. He finds information on the internet that Jinwoo has entered a dungeon. Dongsu Moore says, I am telling you to mind your own business, Woo Jinchul. Whether or not I bury those guys inside a dungeon is my choice. Got it? Jinchul says, yes sir. Moving to in front of Red Gate in real world. White Tiger Guild leader Yeon-ho and Sangmin are standing. Yeon-ho explains how a normal gate turns into a red gate. He says, a red gate only appears in high-ranking dungeon. There's another world beyond the gate, but it's imitating mana waves that are equivalent to that of a mere C rank dungeon. He more says he thinks it's not a C rank but a rank or even higher. Sangmin says, should they use mana meter to measure the gate level? Yeon-ho says a gate which already has turned red won't emit any more mana waves, so it's impossible to measure. Yeon-ho more says if this is B rank dungeon, then to clear it they need at least 3 or more A rank hunters. If it's a rank, they will need either 1 or more S rank hunters or 10 A rank hunters. If it's a rank dungeon, then everyone should be dead by now. So you can assume Jinwoo's current level. Okay, now moving on, you have seen this elf scene where this elf shows Jinwoo a sign with his hand that he will cut off his head. Jinwoo gets angry and says, oh yeah, I will kill you with my own 2 hands. If you remember, he actually killed that elf by slicing off his head. Coming back to the real world outside the gate, we see there is another character who was removed from anime. Manager of the surveillance team 1st division Jo Sang-chan, who praises Kim Chul. He can handle this sir. He has excellent performance record. His fighting abilities are great. Then he talks about Jinwoo. In my opinion, Kim Chul is miles more qualified than some nameless inexperienced hunter. Sangmin says we will see who's right in the end, because as you know, he knows the abilities of Jinwoo. Next, Dongsu enters. Dongsu asks Yeon-ho, did that lame hunter join the White Tiger Guild? Why did you recruit an E-rank loser? Yeon-ho asks, who are you talking about? Sang Jinwoo. Yeon-ho gets shocked. He thinks, how does Dongsu knows about Jinwoo? And why is everyone talking about Jinwoo? Moving on inside the gate, this scene before the people in the dungeon who got divided into 2 teams goes separate ways. Seeing their calm behavior, Jinwoo asks them, you guys are all new recruits. How are you all so calm right now? The girl who joined Jinwoo's team named Park Hae-jin answers, the first thing we learn is anything can happen inside a dungeon. We also get information that Kim Chul has gone through a special training and he is set to join the White Tiger Guild's Elite Strike Squad. Now moving to the scene where Hae-jin asks him, you are not a E rank, are you? They have little more conversation which was cut off. The conversation is like, Hae-jin says, you never answered my question. Jinwoo says, my rank, who's to say? Moving to the scene where Kim Chul faced those ice bears, in anime they didn't show he alone killed all those remaining bears. Next, moving to the scene where Hae-jin tells them to leave the forest because it's the ice bear's territory. They had more conversation but it was cut off. Hae-jin says we should head back as soon as, but Jinwoo interrupts and says that's precisely why we should go further into the forest. Hae-jin says, what? Didn't you hear what I said? Do you want to get killed? While they are talking, a ice bear shows up. One of the guys in the team named Yeon Ki-jung says, you said that all we had to worry about ice bears, but they are high-ranking beasts. Hae-jin says, I knew it. We shouldn't have ventured into the forest. I will distract it. You guys try and find an open. Jinwoo drags her back. She says, what are you doing? Jinwoo says, let me make this clear. I am going to defeat all the magic beasts by myself. Hae-jin says, no matter how strong you are, that's still a high-ranking beast. Jinwoo talks to himself. I can't pass up an opportunity to gain experience points. Then he swaps title and defeats the bear. After defeating the ice bear, Jinwoo and his team eats the meat. They cut some scenes here. Jinwoo was eating with them, as you can see. Then we get some conversation between Jinwoo and Songi. Songi asks him, does Jina study all the time? She told me she sticks pages from the dictionary to the wall so she can memorize the words before she falls asleep. Jinwoo says, no, she is just like any other teenager who eats dinner and goes to bed, a sleepyhead who likes fried chicken. Songi asks, then how are her grades so good? Jinwoo says, I don't know either. When she was in middle school, we used to heat up the arcade and play games. Other members also does some conversation between them. After eating, Jinwoo stands up and says, now that I have eaten, I have to work out. Heijin says, you are going to exercise here in this gate. Jinwoo says, yes, there will be a penalty if I don't. Here everyone thinks he is a weirdo. Then he does his daily quest. The scene of Igris kneeling down to Jinwoo in Manhwa is way better than the anime. What do you think? And here we can see that Jinwoo's current level is level 52, which was not shown in the anime. Lastly, moving to the Kim Chul's side, they have fought Yetis before Elves, which was cut off. Yetis killed almost other members of his team and the rest was killed by Elves. If you remember, they were 3 days in the dungeon, so they were low on foods. Because they didn't have much food with them, they became weaker. Here Kim Chul says, if only I had some food. That's the wrap up for the episode 1.
That's for all. See you in the next video.